Okay, well, welcome to the February meeting of Guano Shire Council committee meetings. We're on the first meeting is Public Infrastructure Committee. I hope that you're all rested after a good holiday. I'll take apologies. I know we have an apology from Councillor Smith and an apology from General Manager Max Eastcott. No further apologies. Somebody move that we accept that apology. Councillor Egan, seconded Councillor Galvin. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Against no carried. Now, I'm looking for somebody to move a recommendation that we confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. Could I have a mover? Councillor Young, seconded. Councillor Dick. Put that motion. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Against no carried. Thank you. Was no presentation. A call for declaration of interests, gifts received and conflicts of interest. No. There being nil at this stage. This meeting commenced at 9:50, by the way. There's no mayoral minute, there's no deferred items, officers' reports are about to happen. So our first report is from the monthly technical services report, and I hand over to Alex Eddy to take us through his report. Turn your mic on.
Very briefly, we received from rain over January, December, which has enabled us to increase or recommence our maintenance grading. We have 95% completed our truck wash facility, and our highway bypass intersection is due to open late February, early March. We have one RMS construction job at the end of this financial year and 3 planned for next year. 2 regional road repair program projects are to commence in the next month. North Star Road and Delunga Road, they will be concluded by end of financial year. Happy to take any questions.
Alex, I note in your report that you're going to do a couple of trial runs on the truck wash. It has been talked about that we might sort of officially open it to the public with a car wash, with a charity car wash for the schools. I don't think it's gone anywhere yet, but that's still in the...
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very suitable suggestion. There are 6 hose reels at the facility that we can meter up and down to work for a car wash.
Right, yeah, that'll be a good way to introduce it to everybody.
Absolutely.
Any questions of engineering department? I think you'd note that we've got an extension to a gravel pit that's going to for DA. Is that correct, Alex?
Correct. We have we're in receipt of an application for a second gravel pit and the property Ticketer for 490,000 tonnes per annum. That application was referred to the Joint Regional Planning Panel this week.
Very good, and Councillor Egan and myself are on that panel, so we'll see more of that. I also notice in your report there's a fact sheet about how far you can graze stock routes down to, or roadside grazing permits. Thankfully, we're not going to have to worry about that for much longer.
Correct, we've had some rain.
Yeah, that's good. Good news. There was a question too from me about this recycling. There's obviously been a massive problem with contamination. What can we do about that? I know they're going to monitor our rubbish and more east to see how it goes, but...
We have tried to have
that one
education
on notice,
programs.
Mr. Mayor.
Righto. It says, it's on page 17, recycling contamination is improving each month.
Yeah.
We've been very consistent in our procedures over the past 3 months and following the contamination flow chart. It's a matter of educating the public, isn't it?
Yes. Further inspections, monitoring the situation. Essentially, help us get on top of it.
Yeah, right. Anyway, it'd be good to get that out there that people need to be vigilant. And I'm just wondering how clear it is what actually goes in the recycle bin anyway. I have trouble with it.
I know we've been fairly active on Facebook. The manager of the waste department has been pushing quite regularly advice on our Facebook with regards to what can go in a recycle bin and how to treat various types of waste. So we're definitely on the front foot.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have a council facility anyway. Yes, Councillor Young?
Just with regard to the Facebook, I think it's a fantastic medium to use. However,
there's a lot of people that would not be on Facebook as we're an ageing community. I personally think that the signage for those bins is in the wrong place. They should be on the front of the bin. You lift the lid
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
there's the sign gone. Whereas
Yeah.
if it was on the front of the bin, you can look still. You've got all the bins open, you can look and say, oh, this one goes in there.
And the other thing is that there are some things that you would normally think would be recyclable that they're
And
not.
they're not.
And
they're not.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And
Yeah.
I do think the signage on those bins is in the wrong place. And while Facebook and all of that electronic media is fantastic, my mother wouldn't use it.
No.
So therefore she doesn't get the message.
Certainly, I think moving forward as bins are replaced, that's something that we can look at.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you'd have to talk to the manufacturer about that, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the rain's been a wonderful result, and you know you've had graders out working weekends and trying to catch up, and I think there's a bit of a lift in everybody's spirit, and it's a wonderful time to be in local government, really, with the amount of money that both levels of government are giving us for roadworks, and we are in the mix for I just can't think the acronym is ROSI, R-O-S-I.
Roads of Strategic
Roads of yes, okay. So we're in the mix for that. We're going to a meeting at Narrabri next week, and it's involving service roads to the new highway. And we've got two that we really like to get sealed, being the IB Ball Road and the County Boundary Road, so we'll be pushing that.
Correct, and in addition to that, we have funding applications presently with the state government under the Fixing Local Roads and Fixing Country Roads programs for sealing of IB Ball Road, upgrade of County Boundary Road, and sealing of Horton Road.
And you probably should make a point of the cost-benefit ratio of the IB Ball Road.
Cost benefit ratio of the IB Ball Road, I believe, was around 7, which is a very, very attractive cost benefit.
You understand you need one to get there. We've got 7, and I think the only one I've ever heard of an hour shy with a greater cost-benefit ratios was a bypass.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Is there any other questions?
Just a comment, Mr Mayor, through to Alex. I suppose the need for the water deliveries has eased off a bit.
Diminished significantly, yes.
Yeah, and,
There still are unfortunate people who haven't managed to get under a shower, but tanks are filling.
That's pardon the pun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic effort, I think, for council.
Yes,
for
it
council to
has
do that.
been well received and well respected by neighbouring councils. And,
Yeah.
and not only neighbouring ones. I mean, I did an interview on Sydney Radio, and they just thought it was incredible what we were doing for drought aid, and I think it is too. The other thing that we need to look at today is there's been a recommendation from the General Manager that we include a staff member on this committee. I was just wondering, looking for comment, and if you think that's a good idea, I'd like to be seeking a nomination.
Mr Chairman, I think that's a great idea, and I'd like to nominate Mr Alex Eddy.
A second.
Thank you, Councillor Colton, and
Mr. Mayor, I'll
seconded
second
by, I'll go this way, Councillor Moore. I'm just, hang on a minute. Oh, okay, so that the recommendation is that the Manager of Engineering Services, Alex Eddy, be appointed to the Public Infrastructure Committee. Is that correct? Is that what you?
Yep.
Right, I'm going to put that motion then to the vote. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried. Thank you. I think that is a sensible move. Now I need somebody to move the officer recommendation that the monthly technical services report for December and January be received.
So moved.
Councillor Young, seconded. Councillor Galvin. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried. Thank you. We move on. And we're back from morning tea, and I'll open the monthly council activity, the Community Services and Planning Committee. Item 1 is the monthly councillor activity statement. It's just, it's at 10:25, yeah. It's just for your information. Is there, I don't know whether you need to change anything. It's what we've all done individually the last month or so. Thank you. Did you? I think we just go back and put your microphone on to do that, please. Councillor Egan.
Move the officer's recommendation.
Looking for a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councillor Dixon. I'm going to put the motion. And I need you to vote with your microphone on. I know it's going to take some learning, this. Right. I'll put the motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
And so carried. Thank you. Item 2 is the minutes of the Country Mayor's AGM and the ordinary meeting held on the 1st of November. I take questions. It's for information only. Pretty straightforward, I think.
Mr Mayor?
Yes.
I've got a
Councillor
comment
Colton, I'll
on
name you too.
section on page 17 from comment by Mr Rob Rogers,
Yes,
halfway down through the first paragraph.
Yeah.
And this is what we're looking for as regards our bushfire protection of Warrialda.
yeah,
A bushfire prone area is designated under legislation. There's 3 categories with buffer zones ranging from 30 to 100 metres.
yeah.
And I mean, this is what we're looking for Warrialda, so just wondering whether we can find out what we categorised as and whether we can get that up categorised so we can get that 100 metres.
Councillor Colton, we've got another Country Mayor's meeting, I think it's, top of my head, 5th of March, and the Commissioner will be, Shane Fitzsimmons will be at that meeting, so I'll question him on that if you like. I'm just not sure how much sway they've got either. It'd be good to have them backing us,
Yeah.
but a lot of our problem is Crown land,
Yeah.
as you know. Anyway, I'll do
Thank
that. Any other questions on that one? No? So that there's really, I suppose somebody might move that be received.
So moved.
So Councillor Young, seconded
I'll second that.
Councillor Galvin, thank you. If you put your microphones on, I'll take a vote. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried, thank you. I'll just make a note here that we're turning microphones off to eliminate background noise. Item 3 is the National General Assembly call for notices of motion. We've got a little bit of time for this, but so give it some thought. Is there anything that springs to mind right now?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to take back
Councillor Egan?
to the General Assembly the motion that wasn't put at the last,
At the state level?
I don't care which level it
No,
goes
it was
to.
state level that you are talking about where it
Yeah.
wasn't put.
And I think now it should go further.
Yes. We have taken it to a General Assembly before. The problem that we've had with native land title, is that what you're referring to?
That's what I'm referring
Yeah,
to.
yeah. But I'm happy to do that. If you'd like to, for the meeting, say, formulate a motion, you can do it now if you like.
Well, I'd like to look back at the motion that we took last time
Yes.
and just
Right.
revisit that and put it forward to them.
Okay, so we'll minute that and have it for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. Is there any other, major concerns we have that could go to the National General Assembly? And I don't want to throw cold water in any of this, but realising it's nice to be able to debate it in front of 500 councils or something or other, but generally the result goes nowhere. And I'll probably get picked up on that by Mr. O'Loughlin, the chair of that organisation, but it does go to government. It is taken further, but very rarely does I see anything tangible come from it. The officer recommendations report be received further that the attendance of the Mayor, General Manager and any other councillor who wishes to attend the ALGA National General Assembly is authorised. Can I have a mover of that recommendation? Councillor
Officer's
Colton
recommendation.
moved it. And
Seconded.
Councillor Egan, you seconding that?
I do.
Yeah, thank you. I'll put the motion and I ask you to vote with your red light on, please. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried, thank you. So there's a whole lot of stuff there about the ALGA conference and we've been regular attenders and quite a few of the councillors have attended. Item 4 is some correspondence with submission from the Warrialda District Chamber. There was some contention about this being not going to a council meeting prior to this, but I believe it was received too late that the meeting notices have gone out. Anyway, it's all there. You've had time to read it. The recommendations report be received. Is there any discussion, or if not, could I get a mover of the recommendation?
Happy to move that, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Egan. And a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councillor Dixon, thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, if you can hit your button and we'll vote. I'm just waiting for the red lights to come on. Those in favour of that report being received, say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried. Thank you. Quite an extensive report. Now we move on to item 5, and was it item 8 we'll do together? If you can just do that, they're both in Helen's department, monthly investment and rates collection report. Helen, you might like to take us through with your mic on.
So if you want to go to item 8, it will give you the most current up-to-date financial position of council rather than the December report. It's just the standard report, so I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has any. Rates collection is still slightly down, but the rates notices would have all gone out at the end of January, so there's the usual jump to get to almost the 75% in Feb.
Helen, I do have a question. You've said in the past that when we look at the graph of the rates collection, and it always looks pretty good.
Yep.
But that does include people that have made an arrangement to pay the rates off at a slower.
Yes?
Is that, how are we going with that? Is that increasing or?
Yes, we've had a pretty significant increase of people that are on payment arrangements.
Yeah,
So most of the arrangements are made so that they're still paid off within the time
yes.
required, but because of the way the weather's been, we did extend that to 18 months rather than the 12 months,
Yeah.
so that it did lessen. So people have utilised it, which is great,
Yeah.
and everyone's sticking to their agreement, so it's
Well, I think that, the community's been wonderful.
Exactly.
And I've had conversation with a lot of people saying that, times are tough. They're asking for rate relief, and there was some talk about the state government giving rate relief for 3 months, I think, for the fire.
Yeah.
People had lost their houses in the fire. That doesn't apply in Guida, but we have been, and I have said to these people, look, if you make an arrangement, you won't have any problems, and people have been doing that, and I think it's great. I really thought that we would have been in a far stickier situation than we are.
the important message that the community needs is they just need to contact us.
Yeah,
We're not going to hunt people down or expect any more from them than they can afford, but they just need to be in contact with us, not just ignore the letters. And
that's right. Is there any questions of Helen? Councillor Egan?
I had someone approach me the other day, and I think they were of the understanding, being farmers, that the government was going to step in and waive their rates, and that council would. I said, well, it hasn't happened, and we don't have that privilege. So
we did have a lot of comments of that a long time ago as well, that the information that got put out in the media looked like that, but that has never been the case.
no,
If that was the case, then we'd certainly take that on, but at the moment, a lot of people aren't expecting us to forfeit their rates. They just need a hand to get back on their feet to get back to paying them, which...
I think that a lot of that came from the PP board rate relief from the government. But the other thing is that there's nowhere in the Constitution that provides us to forego people's rates. And that's our sole income, or our income apart from grants. And we would just cease to operate. And I think that the Guida Shire needs to be operating. We're generating this dollar in the community all the time, and we employ a lot of people. And I think most people understand that. I just think the ratepayers have been absolutely wonderful to do what they've done. It's been pretty hard on everybody. And there's not going to be any income off of farming for a farming family for another 12 months yet. So it's pretty hard. Councillor Dick, you need to put your mic on. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, through to Helen, I'm one of those small business people that have asked for consideration for payment for rates. I would like to think that maybe the council sent a letter or an email to me confirming the arrangement. I'm very busy with different things at the moment, and I've now forgotten the arrangement that was made.
Yeah.
So if there was some confirmation or letter from the council saying, we would like a repayment of such and such per month,
Yep.
would be very helpful.
Yeah, most of it they deal on a person basis with
They
Tracy over the phone. So if
okay.
you give Tracy a call and give her your email address, she'd be happy to email through the arrangement so you've got a record of it. A lot of people set up direct deposits and stuff and forget about it. So they go to the
Oh, I
bank
see.
and if it's $20 a fortnight, they just have it set up so it automatically comes out. So neither us nor them need to think about it. But
Right.
if you're coming in, if you just let Tracy know your email, she can send you a copy
Okay.
of the arrangement.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks, Mr.
Yeah, it's a fair point, Councillor Dick, fair point. Is there any other questions? Yes, Councillor Dick. Oh, and I'm lined up, right, Councillor Dick.
Mr. Mayor, Helen, the Ted Stubbins letter about finance and budgets and that, do you have a comment about that? That
It's-
letter? I mean, I don't agree with everything that this Ted Stubbins says.
Councillor Dick, it's in the report and we've already dealt with that and we're on to the next item. We can talk privately later if you like, but Helen's comments are in that report.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have moved on.
you.
Councillor Moore, did you have something?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, to Helen, or in general, even if we did get the 3 months leeway with the government exemption on rates, they would obviously reimburse us.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I know we can't answer the question, but the time, if you deal with the government and getting reimbursements on things, it seems to take a hell of a long time. We've got problems up in New England where, machinery operators have put stuff into fires and that, and they still haven't been paid for it. There's
Yeah.
millions and millions of dollars still owed by the government.
Well,
To
we're not,
reimbursement. We'd probably be in the same situation.
yeah, but we're not eligible for
No,
it
no,
anyway.
no.
Because it's for individuals who lost their homes.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know that there's anyone in our shire that lost their homes through fire.
But it's just the point I'm making, and the fact that the time frame of getting reimbursed, like
Yeah.
for us, it'd be
Yeah.
horrendous, wouldn't it?
They have, I've just seen the media where they guarantee that it'll be, well, I don't know about rates, but
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of the other things are going to be within 10 days or something.
Mm.
I think they've been pretty good with a lot of it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, is there any other questions of Helen on the investment and rates collection report? Yeah, if not, can I ask somebody move the recommendation, but in the recommendation, can we include both the December and January periods, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Young. Seconder? Councillor Moore.
Move it, Mr. Mayor.
I'll put the motion then. Red lights on, please. I'll put the motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's no, carried. Yeah.
I just wanted to go back, and I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. The comments made by Councillor Dick regarding the letter.
With Tracy, so.
Tracy were away, the staff member were away. So if the staff member were away that was dealing with that, how does the next staff member know what the arrangements are?
We have all the notes on file.
So, but I guess what I'm getting at is the ratepayer doesn't get confirmation either by paper or email or something
No.
of that nature.
They sign an arrangement, so
They
we
do.
send them
That's what I'm
out the
getting at,
arrangement,
yeah.
they sign it and
Yeah.
send it back to
Well,
us.
that's all. So do we not, maybe they should get a copy of that arrangement.
Yeah, yeah.
They could- they-
And then it would eliminate the confusion, yeah.
It's a bit like Helen said, those
Yeah.
that just go to your bank and put it in every
Yeah.
month, they don't need that.
The
But
majority of
cases
them are
like
just there.
Councillor Dick, you do.
Yeah, thank you.
Which we're happy to do, and email's much better than posting, so if you provide Tracy your email.
Okay, so we move on to item 6, which is the monthly executive report for December and January. The author of this report is the General Manager and he's not here, but we can go through and do our best if we have any questions. Or would you have anything to add to that, Leah? Or-
I don't have anything to add, but I'm perhaps able to answer your questions or take them on notice.
I think that that PIT DA is in here, and for the life of me, I just can't see it at the moment.
Yeah, on page 44,
Yes.
about 29, number 29.
There's RJ Swanee.
Oh, that's the one, RJ Swain. I was just wondering if that's a council PIT or a private one.
No, that's for private use.
Private use, I know, that's fair enough, yeah. Councillor Dick, put your mic on, yeah. Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Bull from Fairford Road has put a application in for a large lot subdivision. Could I ask what area of land the subdivision is? Is it more than 500 acres?
I don't know the answer to that, do you? Leah?
No, but we'll take that question on notice and get back to you.
I presume that would be in a a rural area, so it would be a minimum 500 acres, would I be correct?
Well, whatever the minimum is, it just escapes me, but also you realise there is a lot of subdivision in there already. I don't know whether that counts, probably not, but anyway, we'll have to get back to you. The general manager's not here, as you know.
And then further down, we've got, I presume, in Old Kira Road, Bingra, there's a 2-lot urban subdivision. So that's a large 5-acre block going into 2.5-acre areas, or?
We'll have to take that on notice too. Obviously, we don't know. Yeah.
There is, Mr Mayor, quite a considerable amount of subdivisions coming
Yes,
through.
I noticed that, yeah.
And I think that as councillors, we should keep an eye on where
Yes,
the development's happening.
We'll ask the questions because this is not actually approved till the council meeting, as you know. So, yeah, is there any other things you need to know?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Okay. Now, is there any questions? We're probably just going to have to take them on notice unless we do specifically know the answer. You might be able to answer this, Leah. It always amazes me why a development application's received, it's got Palomalawar in there. Why is that?
Part of the Palomalawar address, the postcode is within our local government area.
Righto. That's
So
logical.
I imagine that's what
Yeah, yeah,
forms that statistic.
yeah.
Just with reference to the questions around the subdivisions, just as recently as this week, we have formed a little internal committee where there will be considerable discussion around what comes to you in the form of the development application report. And if the general manager isn't present in the future, I will be across those
Okay.
those areas of development, so I'll be able to provide you with more information. We're meeting monthly before the council committee meetings to make sure that we're abreast of the developments that are happening.
That's a good idea. Not very often the general manager's not here, but it does happen occasionally. Is there any other matters there? Sorry, Councillor Young, I'm going to look up.
Just a comment on the subdivisions at our strategic planning open meeting on the 20th, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was highly discussed. Very interested community about subdivisions in across the Gwydir Shire, rural and urban. So it's probably something that's going to have to be addressed later on down the track.
Was the Aboriginal land claim discussed on the Bingra blocks?
No, it wasn't.
Because that's something we need to address. Yeah.
Yeah, but subdivision, both peri-urban, rural, was discussed, and a lot of talk about it. So highly interested.
And also revisiting our own LEP was made comment on because it needs to be done every 5 years, so we thought that the whole thing could be done together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, Councillor Dick.
Mr Mayor, when is the LEP having to be redone?
Is it due?
What year?
Well,
To the best of my knowledge, it's due with the next round of our IPNR documentation, which will be after the new
the new
council is elected.
Council.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, the GLR is going well, by the look of it, and I think that heavy vehicle training and the learner car setup is a great initiative by this council, and it's being well utilised. I was pleased to see that the vicious koala got out and got away. Any other business? I'm getting flippant.
Could I just make comment, please? I was
Councillor Egan.
approached yesterday with regards to, because the council now owns the paper office,
Yes.
could it have the cleaners put in there? Hasn't been done since council's owned it.
Oh yeah.
So it was just a comment that
Fair comment.
Building's not clean.
the building hasn't been cleaned since council's had it.
No. Oh. Okay. And at that point, we probably should mention the new editor. There's Tom Plevy, is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I met him yesterday, and pretty impressive bloke, I thought.
He's a nice young,
Yeah.
well, he's not a young person,
No.
he's a,
I think we're in good hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any more business to do with this committee meeting, with this part of the committee, item 6, I should say? No. Well, I ask somebody like to move the officer recommendation that the monthly executive report for December and January be received. Councillor Galvin, and seconded by Councillor Dick. Microphone's on, and I'll take a vote. Councillor Moore, your red light's not on there, thank you. I'll put that motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried. Right. Item 7, monthly organisation and community development report. Leah.
I can quickly run you through this report, but please pull me up for any questions along the way. We've got a new focus on work health and safety, and there's quite a lengthy report around there, and we've changed the way that we report to you. So happy to get any comment about that should you have any. Our Nauru Aged Care Facility, when this report went out, we had 34 of the 36 beds occupied. We now only have 1 unoccupied bed, and I'm sure that will be short term. The statistics are there for our CHSP program that continues to be well received in the towns of Bingra, Delungra and Warialda. Economic development, considering this report's over the January and December periods, it goes into the Christmas Carnival, Australia Day, Love Local this Christmas, which was a very good program run in Bingra by the business houses. Guida News, sorry.
You've got the
Councillor
Australia Day thing there. Can I just make mention of how good it was? It was really well done. And could we have a letter of acknowledgement to the recipients and nominees?
Councillor
please?
Regan, now that you mentioned that, I mentioned this last year, and it's happened again. There's no mention of Warialda Australia Day. And I understand that yours is, the Bingra one's more council and the Warialda one's not. But I do think it's important that the recipients of the Warialda Australia Day Committee be recorded in our minutes so that they're there for posterity. If anybody's doing research in the future, they're there. We also had a wonderful day.
Yeah, so, well, I was speaking on behalf of, I chair of the one down
I
here.
know, and
But
Councillor Moore chairs the Warialda.
I mean across the Shire, that the recipients of these awards be acknowledged by this council.
Well, I agree, and there's no mention of the other. And our awards, the winner this year was from Gravesend, a couple.
Yes.
And sometime we had one from
Cobber Creek?
Creek, and North Star was mentioned, but what's the name, teacher out there. So they need to be in here. And I was disappointed when I read this and they're not there. I really was.
So I think that the recipients across the board need
Yes.
council acknowledgement
agree
for
with
their
you, yeah.
input into our.
Yeah. It's just a matter of Rotary submitting the information, Councillor Moore.
Mr Mayor, that Robin actually sent an email requesting the information for the
Yes.
day.
Right.
So she should have all that information for the Shire.
Hopefully.
And it also went to Adam Marshall
Righto.
in the same
Yeah.
context.
Yeah.
Peter Hancock sent it to.
Because I understand that it is in the paper and it's recorded there if you want to do some research, but it should be here in the minutes. Yeah.
Yep.
We will seek that information and report to the next council meeting about the Warialda
Yeah.
event.
Righto. Councillor Galvin, you got-
I'd just like to talk on Love Your Local, the promotion that was put out at Christmas time. The business houses in Bingra formed a new group and come together and talking about ways with the drought and everything that we can help each other. And we'll be running these promotions, hopefully the big weekends in Bingra, end of the Shire, and we will be having a promotion for Easter, June long weekend and Orange Festival and Christmas, and we'll be all working together.
Councillor Galvin, was that an initiative of the 2020 committee or was it the Bingra businesses?
No, it was the Bingra businesses that decided to do that,
Yeah, good.
and we've all come together, and it's a very informal. We're not having presidents or anything like that at this stage. We're just meeting once a month, and the first meeting was very well attended and with lots of positive feedback, and even the ones that couldn't attend for some reason or another were still very positive about the businesses meeting up and helping each other.
That's good to hear. That doesn't happen in Warialda, and I have approached a lot of people in business in Warialda and asked them to attend chamber meetings, and they haven't done it. They all seem to have walked away from the chamber, and I just think the community here is missing out, the business community. They need to do something like you're doing.
Well, we've just taken it on, and as we at this stage we're finding it better as informal, but
Yeah.
still meeting up, having coffee. In a fortnight we're having a clean up our business where
Right.
all the businesses are getting in. They're going to clean their shop fronts
Yeah.
and then meet for coffee and discussion about the Easter promotions
Good
afterwards.
idea, excellent idea. Yeah, is there any, you got more to say, Liz?
Continuing on, of course I have.
Les?
Continuing on with the report, we touched on Glider News previously, and the new editor is Tom Plevy. We were pleased to receive some very good applicants for that position, which was really unexpected. Nikki Adams, who is an extraordinary employee, has finished up with us as from yesterday, and she's going to study medicine. So we still are promoting the paper for sale, and to date we haven't had any interest in that.
A nice farewell to Nikki yesterday. It was very nice.
Yes. Visitor information statistics are there for you to all to see, as is the social services report that outlines all of the wonderful youth and children's services that we provide, their funding bodies and how many attendances there are. And I think that's all from me. Happy to answer any questions.
Yes, Councillor Young.
Through to Leah, I'd just like to ask, how many applications were there for the Glider News editor?
There are actually 3 shortlisted that I saw. I'm not sure how
That's
big
excellent,
the
though.
initial group.
So it just goes to show you don't know who's out there looking for what, do you?
Absolutely.
You probably
It's
should
important that we always do that sort of thing.
I think the report said too.
Right.
So change that, yeah. Councillor Dick.
Mr Mayor, through to Leah, the paper, could you tell us financially how we're doing with that paper since our acquisition?
I can't tell you without notice. I can provide you with some information to a further meeting, but I certainly don't know to give you that information now.
Could we receive some financial information about the newspaper, please?
The new editor, Councillor Dick, is been trained in not only journalism but marketing. So we're hoping that we might increase our market
Add
share.
some.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Any other questions? If not, the officer recommendation is that the monthly organisation and community development report for December and January be received. Could I have a mover? Councillor Galvin is moving and seconded Councillor Young. I'll put that motion. Need some red lights, everybody.
Early.
I need 2 red lights over here. I'm going to microphone on, please, Councillor Dick. Okay. Now I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried. Thank you. Now we've dealt with item 8 previously. So item 9 is meeting cycle dates, which is really riveting news. There's no need for, unless you've got a question on it, we just go ahead. You happy to adopt the meeting
Mayor,
cycle?
I'll move the officer's
Thank you,
recommendation.
Councillor Colton, that the report be received
I'll
for the
second
regular meeting dates for 2020 are accepted. And the seconder was Councillor Galvin. Now we need red lights on again. And I'll put that motion. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, no, carried. Thank you. Item 10, Warialda Fire Plan Strategy. And Jeff Smith's the chair of that committee and he's not here. So, David, Councillor Colton, would you like to make a comment or are you happy to?
Yes, Mr Mayor, we had a final meeting with SMK, with Peter Taylor from SMK, and we've asked that this information be forwarded on to our local member in Adam Marshall and also the Minister for Emergency Services as a priority to try and get our zones around, particularly the township of Warialda on the northern and southern sides, our asset protection zones or fire zones or whatever you want to call them, extended to a lot larger than what they currently are. So,
Which is 6 metres.
which is, 6 metres on the boundaries. The problem we've got is we've got a lot of Crown land, some that is looked after by us, some that is looked after by the local land services. And so, we've sort of gone down that track to try and get those areas put under our control so that we can try and keep it a bit clean and tidy and give us a better fire zone around the because we are a fire-prone land, and I had a question there earlier in regard to what category we were. I've spoke. That's been taken on notice to find out what category we are, and then we can sort of.
Who decides the category? RFS?
I don't know. I presume it
Do you know,
could be
Councillor
Crown
Dick?
Lands, or it could even be just the state government. Don't know who would
Right.
do that, but we'll chase that down and see what we can find. But
I talked to the General Manager about this report, and I said that I felt that it needed another line saying that we needed permission to do this. It's imperative that we have this permission by the winter so we can do the clearing before the next fire season. And he has put urgent in red writing, but I would rather that in our recommendation we add that line, if you don't mind. Councillor Egan, I'll come
On
back to you.
page 19, page 12 of 37 or 99 of council papers, second paragraph.
Wait a minute. Yeah, right. Yeah, RFS.
Yeah, we're going to have to obtain a certificate to be allowed to do all this. Now, listening to the reports the other day, people saying about obtaining certificates, it takes them forever to obtain a certificate. Our work's more urgent than that.
Yes,
You know,
it is.
we can't be held in those.
Well, that's why I wanted to add that line, that it be put in place so that we can do the construction of or deconstruction of the fire break in the winter months, in the cool months.
And so that certificate's going to be imperative that we get it fast tracked.
Yes. And it's going to involve our local member, our local state member, Adam Marshall. Councillor Dick?
Mr Mayor, I am aware that because of the devastating bushfires that happened on the south coast and many houses and lives were lost, there is going to be a full report on the fires, and in that report there will be major changes in what the emergency services do and what councils will be allowed to do. So I think we need to, like permits and permissions and Crown land, there will be changes come through from these fires.
Councillor Dick, there'll be recommendations. It'll be up to the government to accept them. We're not too sure what's going to happen. There's political influence as well, as you realise. But anyway, sorry, keep going.
So I think a lot of those recommendations are going to help this committee in achieving
I'm sure it will.
this thing.
Yeah.
We need to understand that basically direct fire into Warialda is a possibility, but not really going to happen. We will be impacted with ember attack. Ember attack is the major danger concern. Now, if there's a fire breakaway, we have less ember attacks and everything, but that is the prime danger.
We do understand that. And I think, look, this was an abnormal summer. In a normal sort of a summer, a fire break's going to be pretty effective. And it's been really frustrating in that you and everybody would have seen how the pine trees around town, I don't know if they're going to die, but they're almost dead. And they would be like petrol if you lit a match.
Absolutely.
And we had an arsonist operating. We had three. I don't know if he did all of them. He lit the first one, and then there was second one on the southern side of the town that was lit by somebody. And that, I don't know what gets these people off, but that's what we're up against. And we've got to have, like, we're talking about 150 metre wide break as a parkland type break, so that there's still some trees there.
Yes.
But the 6 metre break, most of the trees are more than 6 metres long, so they burn, fall over the break, and you've got another fire.
I presume you're talking about a similar break like we've put around the back of Nauru.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And that would be very beneficial.
Yeah.
If we can't get permission to do this, there is an opportunity to do what we call in the RFS as a thinning program. And that thinning program would knock out 200 metres of pine.
Well,
One of our danger things for our areas here in Bingra is the heat that pine burns and the speed that it burns.
we did commence that Councillor Dick, and it got that hot, and that was going to start a fire. We were worried about it. Had to stop it, but that'll recommence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Young.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask, the second part of the recommendation, that discussions commence with the Crown Lands Office and the chair of the local LLS requesting the transfer of management of the TSRs identified in the buffer zone. Will that incur an extra workload that would have to be,
Oh,
covered by our existing staff levels, or?
obviously it will.
Yeah, so,
It'll probably be done by the general manager, I'd imagine. That's the problem. The LSS have got very strict rules about what you can do, and so we need to be able to actually acquire that land. And you'll know that the travelling stock route are all but gone, and one of them goes fair into the truck wash. So I can't imagine we'd have too much trouble there. I think the other one's around top of the golf course.
they are mapped
yeah.
in here.
Around the back of the high school.
Back of the high school, goes the other side, right? Yeah. So anyway, it will, but we've just got to do that. Any questions? Any further questions of that report? Can I add to the recommendation then that it's imperative that we have permission to do this so that we can act during the cooler months of the year?
So the recommendation with the addition of urgency, the local state member, the Honourable Adam Marshall MP, and the Minister for Police and Emergency Services, the Honourable David Elliott MP, be forwarded a copy of the SMK consulting report with a request that Adam Marshall assists the council to obtain urgently the necessary exemptions required to undertake the works outlined in Appendix 5.
I'd like to not only just urgently, but put a time on it, so that people realise that we've got to do this. We can't be doing it next January. It's got to be done in the winter.
During the winter of 2020.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So urgently to allow for the works to be undertaken in
During the winter of 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably autumn now that we've had some rain.
Yeah, it could go any time from now probably, but okay, so is any other questions? Or if not, I need a mover and a seconder.
Mr Mayor, I'd be happy to move that.
Councillor Colton moved it.
I'll second
Councillor,
that.
going this way, Councillor Dick.
Mr Mayor, I wish to abstain from that voting.
Okay, because I still need a seconder then. Councillor Moore,
Yes, John.
thank you.
Yes, Mayor.
The mover was Councillor Colton and seconded by Councillor Moore, Councillor David Colton, I should say. Right, so I'll put the motion, ready to vote. The microphone's on. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against no, noting that Councillor Dick did not vote. What else have we got? Is that it? Yep. We've done it? All right, very good.
Separate confidential.
Okay, so that concludes our committee meeting. We do have there is one other matter in that we wanted to appoint a staff member. Well, it's recommended we appoint a staff member to the Community Services and Planning Committee. If you would like to do that, I need some direction, please.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Mrs. Leah Daly.
The Deputy General Manager.
And I'd like to second that.
It's Councillor Young has moved and seconded by Councillor galvin. I'll take discussion. Do you think that the Deputy General Manager is a worthy character to do that job? Thank you. Is there any comment? If not, I'll put the motion. The microphone's on for a vote. Councillor Dick? We're voting on the fact that we add a staff member, being the Deputy General Manager, to this committee. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? No. Carried. Thank you. Well, that indeed does conclude this meeting. Thank you very much.
11:05.
At 11:05, and our next meeting is a confidential meeting, which we will obviously do in confidence. Thank you.